Hello, hello. What's up, garden friends? I hope you're all doing great. In today's video, we're gonna be talking all about fall gardening. Gosh, I love the season. It's so much easier to be out in the garden. The temperatures are nice and comfortable, and we got some great plants to choose from. There's a huge selection. A lot of gardeners might not think about gardening in the fall. We're thinking about maybe hanging out, relaxing inside, but you know what? Fall is a great time to garden, especially here where I live in Sacramento, California. Our weather's great for it, and a lot of other places are as well. So for us, we have got some great choices for this season. You can see broccoli here right in front of me. We just planted these as transplants just a few weeks ago, and they're already taking off. The fall season is a wonderful time to rejuvenate your soil out in the garden, but also it's a great time to grow. So I'm gonna show you row by row what we're growing in these rows and how we grow it and what we're gonna look forward to, how we're gonna take care of them. So let's get right to it. Fall gardening is where it's at. I'm so glad you made it. Yeah, so as I mentioned, we've got a lot of brassicas. So we got broccoli and cauliflower. We've got some cabbage in the garden as well. I'll show you a close-up of that here in a little bit. We got them in rows, spaced about 3 feet apart. You probably could do them in a double row, but for right now, with how our irrigation is out here, and we've got our rows 3 feet apart. But you could probably actually plant these a bit closer. Most of the brassicas, at least for the cauliflower and broccoli, they're at about a foot to a foot and a half apart. If you want to get them a little closer, you can pack them in a little tighter, but you'd be shocked at how big these are going to grow. And by the time they're done ready to harvest, this walkway will be almost covered in their branches. So they're going to get big. We're going to grow some monsters. Of course, you can see some snapdragons. We've been planting some snapdragons and pansies. We've got some alyssum in here along the borders just to help bring some color to the garden and, of course, encourage beneficial organisms. But yeah, brassicas go crazy right now. So we've just got these started a couple weeks ago, about maybe two weeks ago. We got them in the ground and they are taking off. We lost, I think, 2 died, but that's out of like 100 or better. So we're doing pretty good. And the one that died, it got nibbled by some roly-polies right at its base. And so I didn't put out any sluggo, and that's what happens. We lost one. That's okay. You can see the carrots are popping up right now. Look at those carrots. That's pretty cool. So with carrots, they take a little while to germinate, about 3 weeks or so. So sometimes you got to be patient. Compared to a lot of other seeds, when you plant them, they just sprout a little slower. We've got them planted at about 1 inch apart, and then maybe as they widen out, maybe we'll thin them out maybe to 2 inches if needed. But I think 1 inch apart is pretty good. You can see that right there. Thankfully, Mr. A's been out here helping out, doing a lot of work out here, keeping it weeded and keeping the plants healthy. We just got some garlic in over here. I'll show you some more mature garlic, but garlic right now in the fall, best time to plant it. You want to get it started, get it rooted in for winter, and it'll slow down a little bit in winter. Then by spring, it'll just have a nice, healthy little root system to battle with. But you can see, I went crazy on the carrots. We grew a lot of carrots this year. So these hopefully will be for a nice spring harvest. We'll plant them now, and then we'll enjoy them hopefully in early spring. You can see here, that's the open spot where I lost our seedling. All its friends did great. That one just right at its base, right where its stem and the roots meet underneath the soil, it looked nibbled. And so the whole thing just collapsed one day. And so that happens. And I'll actually probably replace that maybe later today with I'll go get a 6-pack or something. But look at these. These are a great example of how fast and how big they grow. So like I said, the brassicas just love our weather. The carrots are good for this. Basically, a lot of your leafy vegetables, your root vegetables. We didn't have any planted outside right now, but lettuce goes great. Spinach goes fantastic. Here's the cabbage. You can see the cabbage is already getting big leaves, and these are gonna be monsters. We had some great luck with cabbage last year, and I have noticed a little bit of caterpillar activity. I didn't spray with any BT on these. I wanted to see just wanted to see how they would do without it, because I had been noticing the little white little butterflies out and whatnot. And so I pulled 1 or 2 off by hand when I noticed some damage. So here's a good example. This one right here got nibbled. And so sometimes you just look on the undersides of the leaves, and then you'll find where those caterpillars are at, or on the inside here where that new growth is. But if if you have a ton of caterpillar damage, that BT is the way to go. It's an organic pesticide, bacterium. But here you can see some damage right here. So just a little bit, something's been nibbling. And like I say, you just flip these leaves over. If they're still there, you can flick them off into the wild blue yonder, feed them to your chickens or whatever. But thankfully it's not been too bad. The plants are taking off and they got relatively good health. The soil here, we just been putting so much effort into it that it's really been making all the difference. And of course the weeding, constant weeding, just to keep the plants healthy. But here's some garlic. So garlic is going gangbusters right now. Like I said, it's really important to get it in now so it can get established, and then you have just fantastic garlic to harvest in the summer. But they sprout and grow quick. Always grow a few extra, because sometimes some just don't germinate, they don't sprout up as fast as the others or at all. And it's nice to be able to fill in some of those blank spots. So always plant a little extra and maybe off to the side, and then you can replenish as needed. We've got beets coming up. We've planted some beet seeds. So beets are great. You can eat the greens. They're really delicious actually in your salads. You can stir fry the greens. They're really good for you, I imagine. Very lots of nutrition there. But of course we want that tap root. So we're gonna thin them out eventually here a little bit. We'll let them get a little bigger, and we'll probably come in here next week and then thin the seedlings out so that way they're not all on top. There's some of them got dropped in, you know, you got 4 or 5 seeds in one hole. That's not gonna be good. So we gotta thin those out, so give them proper spacing. Here's some more brassicas, more garlic, and this is what I'm really proud of, is cilantro. Cilantro likes this cooler weather. Here in the summertime, when we grow cilantro, it just bolts, it gets kind of bitter, a little bit soapy tasting. But now when it's nice and cool, they tend to grow a little bit better. They don't bolt as fast, or that premature flower. We don't want that. So they love this weather right now. So they're gonna hopefully take off, and we'll have some delicious cilantro to enjoy. And of course peas. Peas are an easy plant to direct seed and direct sow. We had the students do these, I think just a week or so ago, and they're already have emerged and are sprouting up quickly. You plant them pretty dense, and the ones we have here are a variety that only get 1.5 feet tall. And so these ones aren't gonna require any staking or trellising. There's some peas out there that, you know, they run and they grow and they climb, and so they're gonna want something to hold on to. And if that's the case, then make sure you give them something to climb onto and explore, because then you'll get the most out of your peas there. But same thing here, we don't need that. These ones are a little dwarf, little short 1.5 feet, 18-inch tall. So they'll work. Hopefully we can harvest them and get a good harvest, good little bountiful collection of peas out of them, but without doing too much work to trellis them. Of course, the lemon trees are blasted and full of fruit. Let me take one last close-up of this. Our lemon trees are we have 2 of them, little happy little brother-sister pair right here, and they're just covered in lemons that are just slowly coming in to harvest. I have kids that keep coming out here and wanting to eat them as they're green. Those silly folks. But if we just be patient, hopefully in the next week or 2 with this chilly weather, they'll further mature and ripen, and we'll get some delicious fruit. As you can see, it's just covered. And you can see this is where it all started right there. Beautiful little citrus blossom. If you could smell that, I wish you could. They smell so good. And our orange trees are packed full, but they'll be coming a little later along. Usually after the New Year's when we start seeing our oranges ripen. We got some mandarins as well to enjoy. But as far as the vegetables, that's what we got out here. There's tons more to choose from. So if you didn't like anything out here, there's kale, there's parsnips, spinach. All those plants love the cool weather. Of course, you can grow lettuce for now until that frost comes, because the lettuce doesn't like the frost. But the one thing about these brassicas is they don't mind it. So that's what's kind of nice about them, is they're a true cool season crop. They're not even cool, they're a cold season crop. They like our cold weather here. And so it's gonna be great for them. So hopefully we'll have just a great harvest. I'll have to check back in on this garden to show you basically just how things are gonna grow. Just a few weeks ago, it was all bare dirt. Before that, it was all our peppers, our tomatoes, our zucchinis and cucumbers. Since then, we've removed it all. We've amended the soil. We've tilled it all back up and kind of cultivated it, brought some air back into the soil, of course, some compost and organic matter. And now we're off and running into our cool season. I hope you're doing some cool season gardening as well. Other options, if you don't really want to have to worry about your fall garden right now, you can still cover your soil with some straw or some mulch to protect it from the winter rains and wind and weather. But you can also plant cover crops, you know, and those are plants that you can grow that are going to protect the soil. You can till them into the soil. A lot of the times they're going to enrich your soil by fixing atmospheric nitrogen with bacteria that's growing on little nodules on their roots, right? So you want to build your soil, protect your soil one way or another, whether you're growing your crop like we are right now or you're taking a season off. Either way, I wish you the very best, and we'll see you back here next video, folks. Please like, share, subscribe, all that great stuff. We're so thankful to have you watching the videos.